but we'll get you a copy here in a sec.
Thank you.
Yeah, Brent?
To give you a little bit of background, the research into the federal immigration law. The federal government has the absolute authority to control the borders, whether who comes into the country and who doesn't. Once they're inside our national boundaries, they have no authority to place them. Okay? Under the Federal Immigration, or the Refugee Act, specifically under with the Wilson Fish Amendment, they can place them in states with coordination and cooperation by the states. And usually the states will have a state agency that will help relocate the refugees. In Idaho's case, we declined to form a state agency, and initially we adopted the Wilson Fish option of having another agency, in this case it's one of the voluntary agencies, to help place the refugees. We have since rescinded our adoption of Wilson Fish. And so there is no official state agency, so the refugees that are being located here are being located with coordination from Montana. Now this brings up a legal question, is since there's no state coordination that's required by federal immigration law, can they even bring refugees here? And that's a question that's still in the ether, if you will, and there's really no concern for the commissioners at the moment. When I brought this question up, and we were originally discussing if there's any way to put an impact fee on refugees in order to compensate the county for the additional costs of having growth, and you're quite right, Chairman, that there really isn't any way of doing that.
Dan works just fine.
There really isn't a way of doing that. And I had Chris Trupus, who was a candidate for Attorney General of Idaho, and has gone face to face with Lawrence Wasden 4 times in the Supreme Court and won all 4 times. So I tend to take his opinion on these matters with some degree of seriousness. So we discussed what are the actual options that are available to the counties. And really, you're reduced to demanding that the federal government do what it's supposed to do. If the federal government has the authorities to bring refugees into this country, then they also have the responsibility to make sure that they're well cared for and not to dump them on a community and have the